Just gonna do a quick video on this earthquake chipper here. This earthquake stuff, it's pretty low quality, but if you're just looking for something to use a couple of times or something and not real heavy use on it, it's not too bad. But they usually don't last a heck of a lot of hours, so this one I am a little concerned it came in without a spark plug in it, but I'm gonna throw a spark plug in it and we'll check for spark first since it's already out of here. But there's some dirt in the end of the spark plug wire and that this is cracked here, so I'll get you set up and we'll get started. So the first problem I'm seeing is you go to put the spark plug in here. You can see it doesn't click on there. So it's the actual brass piece in there is busted. So these ones just fold this back and then they kind of unscrew. And I think I have another one of these you can kind of see in there. And then you just got the regular wire in the end. I think I have another one of these. I'll run and grab one and we'll put that on and test spark. A lot of the parts for the Honda engines kind of cross to these Honda clones. This one just had a Sten's 135-226 spark plug boot or cap. So we'll put that one on there. Oh, I have that on there. This already came with the new rubber piece. And then the spark plug, I've just got a Denso spark plug. It's a W20EPR-U. And those are a pretty good quality plug. The Torch spark plugs that a lot of this stuff comes with, I don't recommend them at all. I've had so many problems with those China-made spark plugs. They'll make your engine run really strange. You'll seem like you have a fuel issue, and then all you do is change the spark plug and that's all that's wrong with it. So any of them that come in with one of the Torch spark plugs, I replace it right away. Let's see if got the switch on. We'll just give it a pull and see if we have any spark. I don't know if how good you could see that or not, but it had a kind of weak spark, but it had spark. Well, I guess we'll throw the spark plug in now and see if that was our only issue or if there's other stuff going on. I already checked the oil in it and that looked good. So we'll give it a pull and see what happens. Not sure which way is on the gas. We'll try it the way it was first and then not much throw on that throttle. We'll just pull a little bit off idle, see what happens. Guess we'll try it that way. Well, it looks like we got some fuel in there, but might be kind of flooding. It might be too much, so I'll take the choke off. Well, maybe we got another issue. I squirted a little gas in the carburetor. We'll see what happens. Must not be sucking fuel up. I'll try, maybe take this. I don't know why they don't have this marked. I bet you it was on the cover though. They brought it in without the cover on it. Probably said which way was on, which way was off. Or maybe just pop this fuel line off and see which way fuel comes out. Well, that fuel line's kind of rotten. I think I just poked a hole in it. That's the thing with these cheaper machines. The fuel lines and these clamps are just garbage. So that must be off. It was leaking when I had it that way, so up and down is on. Alright, I squirted a little gas in there again. Now that we have the fuel actually on, let's see if it'll start running. I'll have to pop that float bowl off the carburetor and see what we got coming out of there. I normally start by just popping the float bowl off to see if we have any easy issues to just poke a wire up through or something, but 9 times out of 10 I end up taking the carburetor off and going through the whole thing. But that almost looked like it. Well, maybe. I thought it looked like it had some moisture in it, but we'll let that drip out. I'll get it all over me. Then we'll take that off. Yeah, there's some grime in there. I'll probably have to, well, maybe not. This one doesn't look too bad under there. I'll turn the fuel on, and it is running out of the float. We might be able to get away with just cleaning out the float bowl, and then I'll spray underneath there and knock any junk out of there. Yeah, that looks a lot better. I could tell that it had ethanol fuel in it. It makes kind of like a gel in there sometimes. Other times it turns all green. But the gel is usually, because ethanol will absorb moisture out of the air, so it usually turns into like a goo in there. And I shoved a wire up through the middle. That actually looked pretty clean. It was mainly just down at the very bottom where that main jet picks up fuel was plugging up. And the fuel that came out of there looks like it could be a little bit cloudy, but mainly just kind of yellow because it's probably old. Well, we'll give it another shot now and see what happens. Well, I might have to put some fresh fuel in it. I don't know if that stuff has just lost all its octane or what, but I'm gonna take this line off here, and I'll probably just take the air cleaner assembly right off of it. And then we can get to them lines, and I'll put a new fuel line in right there. I'm gonna grab a new fuel line for that and we'll throw that on there. I'll just turn that valve on and I'll just let it drain down into that pan. It does look pretty yellow, so it might not even want to fire on that fuel. Alright, I got that fuel out of there. We'll slide this new piece of fuel line on. A couple new clamps. This is kind of a tough bend. There we go. Put that back on. Okay, I'll get some fresh fuel in it and we'll give it another try. One more thing I'm going to do before I try to start it is I'm going to pull this low speed jet out of here and see if there's anything plugging that. You just take that idle adjustment screw all the way out and you pop that up like that, which I just about lost it. But there's, I don't know if you've watched any of my other videos. The very first video I posted just about was a push-more video I did where it showed this. There's a hole in the very bottom that's very small. You have to poke a small piece of wire through. You can use like a, I like to use like this like guitar string or piano string that's really small, and you can unravel the ends and they fit through these small orifices. Which that one actually did have a piece of something in there, so it's a good thing we took that apart. But a lot of times if you get a surging engine, especially at low speed, this jet will be your problem. That'll be what's causing that. I'll throw that back in now. There are O-rings on that too that can be bad sometimes. This one they felt okay. Alright, now we'll give it another shot. I was just running off the carb clean I sprayed in that low speed jet. I don't recommend spraying carb clean in there like that to get them running, but sometimes they're stubborn like that and you just gotta get them to prime up a little bit. So I was just giving her a few little squirts to keep it running. Then it took off. It must have just had trouble getting fuel down. Sometimes they get a little bit airlocked. But with something like this, they have it's like a great big flywheel in there that's the chipper part of it. So they keep spinning for a long time after you shut them off. So usually you want to shut the fuel off, let it run for a little bit, and then hit the switch to shut it off. Otherwise, you're just constantly sucking fuel while the spark is off, and then it floods it really bad. So then you go to restart it and it'll start hard for you. But I'm gonna run this outside and we'll let it run for a while and make sure it's good and make sure it restarts on its own. And I don't really want to chip anything with it without that air filter on there. I'm hoping that he has the air filter for it, because that's another bad thing about these earthquakes, is it can be a little bit difficult to find the correct parts for them sometimes too. The engines aren't quite so bad because they're a lot of the same as Honda stuff, but as far as like their air cleaner assembly is their own, and then the exhaust and any attachments for the actual machine are their own design, so it's harder to find stuff. So we'll run it outside and we'll run it for a little bit and see how it goes, and this one might be good to go. Alright, we'll see if it fires up now. Well, it's the next day. I let it cool all night. I wanted to make sure it does a cold start. Turn the gas back on. We'll choke it. We'll see what happens. That started pretty good. I think this one should be good to go. Hopefully he has the air cleaner cover and stuff he can put on there. But that's going to do it for this one. If you like this sort of thing, like the videos and subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you on the next one.